It is again my pleasure to introduce our final speaker, Dr. Tsuyoshi Watanabe. Dr. Watanabe is lecturer of geology and environmental earth science at Hokkaido University. His research focuses on understanding environmental changes through the study of modern and fossil corals. Please welcome Dr. Watanabe.
Thank you very much for inviting me to such a great international interdisciplinary symposium. Today, I would like to talk about mainly three topics. One is my research is really far from the different background. Most of the attendees today, I'm a geologist, and then mostly working on the corals and coral reefs and the earth environment change. So I would like to introduce my work as what is the corals. And the second, I would like to also introduce one of our recent project related to the understand the relationship between the human and nature, the climate change. And lastly, I would like to back to the main project of today, difference and similarity of the corals and humans. So already I'm from the Hokkaido University, but mainly my fieldwork is tropical islands, the corals and coral reefs distributed. My background is the geology, but now my interest is to extend more different field of science. But mainly, because coral reefs are distributed tropical to the subtropical areas, my field work is there. But most of my belong to the institutes is located big cities like Sydney in Canberra in Australia, Paris in France, and so I really at the field. Maybe I should work together in the local people and the local community. So now I established a small field-based institute in a small island located between the Kagoshima Prefecture and the Okinawa Prefecture. So yeah, this is a kind of my research field and research sites. Yeah, mainly I'm looking forward to seeing the modern coral reefs, but sometimes I also go to the very far from the ocean, like middle part of a desert in Oman and other fieldwork in Mexico to find fossil corals as well. Now, as I mentioned, it is location the Kikai Islands, located between Kagoshima and Okinawa prefectures. Our institute, a small institute, is located there. It's a very nice place because this is located between the tropical area and the temperate area. So now we are facing a global warming. So maybe nice to very nice side to monitoring what's happening in the future. Also, this island is continuous uplifted during the last at least 100,000 years. So we can observe very different time windows of the past. So we here in this island, we can observe very different past coral reefs. Then it's very nice site to understand what is the relationship between Earth environment and coral reef development. Yes. So almost 7 years ago, we established a small field-based institute there to use the elementary school buildings. So now many people start to gather the islands. So now we are enjoying to collaborate to other many scientists of different kinds of scientific fields. Also, not only for the scientists, but such like artists, then also young students, then also the people in the local community. So I'm now thinking coral reef is also suitable, nice field site. Many people, different kind of people, to gather and to study and discuss together. Because coral is physically very, coral reef island is physically very small. That's why we need to meet. Actually, we meet many people soon together in the islands, very small. And also, corals gave us the very variety of the different kind of place. For example, the coral to create a very unique geographic features. There are also the many different sustain many different kinds of animal and plants. They also to give a human being the water source and the food source. So now we are, I'm really enjoying to work together in such very different field of science. So that gave me the hint to start the interdisciplinary or transdisciplinary research works projects. So first of all, I would like to introduce what is a corals and what is a coral reefs. With corals, the meaning many different kind of aspect, from nano to micro scale to kilometer scale. Also, with very different time scale. For example, the coral is just start to the millimeter scale of planula. This is a coral baby. They are first, after spawning, so they are coupling the sperm and eggs, and then start to create their life. And then up to continue to grow, and then to make a colony. And the colonies also change the shape depending on environment. Sometimes the colonies are very long-lived, up to the several hundred years or 1,000 years, and then continues to grow, and then to accumulate with other marine organisms or dead part of skeletons, and then that accumulation is continue to form, and then eventually home to coral reefs. But coral reefs also is related to the history of environment change and Earth histories. Because in our planet, in the past, sea levels change because of glacial time scale. And also coral reefs respond to such a change, and then continue to form. Then eventually, some with the tectonical movement, island is uplifted or island subsident, but coral itself is alive. Then a coral can catch up with such a change in the sea level. So corals have both, corals are actually very strong, but also very weak. That means the coral has both aspects, vulnerability and resilience. So in this talk today, I would like to show you the both aspects of coral and coral reefs. So this is a life cycle of corals. As I said, the corals start to the baby, planula. Maybe this copy. Yeah, this is swimming. This is only the lifestyle stage. Coral can swim. It's very small, millimeter size. It's very cute, actually. But they have to choose their place for life history. Because after coral start to calcify, then coral could not move anymore. That's why they need to find a really best place for them. And then they start to create the skeletons, the stone. So if in Ireland, I always asking to the kids, how do you think coral is animal or plant or stone? So they answered differently. But I answered at the end of my talk, all of you answered correctly, because corals has also aspects that have animal and plants and also stone. Coral can create stone, and then that stone accumulating, and then to form coral reefs and coral islands. Yeah, so coral, first after their settlement, in the basement of the rock, they start to calcify day by day. And then they are polyp, they call this the polyp. And also stone parts, we call the corallite. Corallite is single polyp, corresponding single polyp. And the corallite that continues to grow with creating the aragonite, the mineralogical aragonite stones day by day, and then going to grow. But in the meantime, very important process, coral adjust. Because coral is have a partnership with the symbiont algae. After birth, or from the parents, they are obtaining this great partners. It's a very small, like size of several, 40 to 50 micrometer partners, but they are phytoplanktons. So that's why they, if they symbiont together, symbiont algae, the corals has a tool to use the sunlight and then to change their energy, and also the source of nutrient. So the coral system is really working very well. Even they have additional nutrient supply from the outside, they can make the carbon nutrients from just using sunlight, because symbiont algae can photosynthesize. So coral can survive using this unique partnership with symbiont algae. And then coral also, importantly, the corallite, the budding and then colonize. So the colony, then the next stage, coral can form the coral colonies. But the coral colonies, it's also can change their shape, depending on their environment. Like this, some coral is finger types, some coral colonies, but some others is like a table-like shape or massive type of the colonies. It's depending on the environment. So, but this coral colony is, that consists of many different, many individual corallites. So, but even the same species, the coral colony can change differently depending on the environment. For example, the depth. If the water depth is increasing, the sunlight immediately they are decreasing quickly. But coral colony can change their home depending on the depth environment. So eventually, coral colony corals that form variety of such different shape. Then this kind of shape is provide other animal and plants And that's why the coral reef is kind of largest number of biodiverse, biospecies. So coral can have housing to them. Eventually, the coral can continue to grow with other different coral species, also other different marine organisms, and then also the accumulating the dead part of skeletons and also other sediments. So they create the coral reef. The coral reef can change the environment for other animals and plants. So this is Kikai Islands, our islands. In this geological setting, location, coral, island itself continuous uplift. Then we can see that coral is the top of the mountain. Actually, it's a very old formed coral reefs. But in many areas in the ocean, coral reefs can continue to grow, and then eventually they created an island chain or islands. So in such an island, even including our human being also can live on the coral reef islands. That is also important aspect of coral and coral reefs. Others, secondly, I already mentioned, but coral can create a coral reef in a tropical, subtropical area, but such an area is kind of desert, I call the marine desert, because the tropical area is many strong sunlight always. So then any other phytoplankton quickly use the nutrients. So usually very poor nutrients, but every life needs nutrients. But corals has a partnership system, hybrid system. Then coral can sustain and survive there in such very severe situation, severe environment. That's another important point for to study corals and coral reefs. Then this is a red zone, indicated high diversity of coral species, but also right-hand side, fish, snail, and lobsters, the mapping of the species, diversity of species. This almost overlap each other. That's why the coral reefs sustain, the evidence sustained to the not only coral species, but other animal and plants. Also, corals has a long history, like almost 500 million years. Coral existed in the coastal area, just between the marine ocean and land. Then sustained such a diversity of the animal and plants. So that's why research of the understanding coral reef, corals in evolution is very important to know why we are so diverse now in the present day. Also, another important thing, coral skeleton, these consist of calcium carbonate, including the C, carbon in the elements. And then coral, not only coral, but coral create carbonated rock even after the die and accumulating. So that's such kind of carbonate rocks. They include so many carbon in it. So in our planet, the coral, the other calcifer, continue to calcify as their skeleton and deposit in the surface of our planet. That's why concentration of our atmosphere, I mean that carbon dioxide is relatively very small percentage relative to the other planets, like Venus. The almost number of volume of carbon is almost same between two planets. But the planet, the Earth, has been such coral and other calcified marine organisms, and continue to create the skeleton, and then eventually carbonate rocks. So that's why our planet is relatively suitable for the organisms to live. So also the coral reefs in living a very sensitive place for other climate change, like ENSO, El Nino Southern Extension. So coral can continue to create their skeleton. So also the coral is very sensitive to the climate environment changes. So we can, if we can use a coral and then to investigate, analyze, so coral can tell us what was happened, the climate change or other environment change in the past. So this background is geologist. So I compared with other geological evidence to reconstruct the past. Coral is grow very quickly, rapidly, and then also the living long time, such as several hundred years. Also with annual bands in their skeletons. So we can use such annual banding, that's a calendar, back to the past. So I call that's why it's corals as nice environment climate recorders. So we can use coral skeletons as a time capsule to back to the past. Also, the other dweller, like giant clam in coral reefs, also the track to record the environmental change is very detailed time resolution. They also created a daily growth line. That means we can reconstruct the past climate environment change very detailed. So that's why we can reconstruct the past climate, past environment change using such dweller in the coral reefs with daily to the monthly, weekly, monthly time resolution. Which is a very good time window to compare with our human life or other cultures events. So yeah, so that's why mostly we are using such a nice material to reconstruct the past histories in the tropical area. And also coral live in the coastal area between the ocean and land. So we can, if we can use properly the corals, so we can we can reconstruct the past environment, not only happening in the ocean, but the land. Because sometimes coral reefs in human being living and then using a land, so then such activity influence on the coastal environment. So also such event coral can tell us what was happening in the past. So also the ocean is really spread then, so we also reconstruct global issue and also local issue. Also the coral, it's very nice to, calcium carbonate, so we can use almost many kinds of chemical analysis to reconstruct each element. For example, temperature, salinity, pH, and the nutrient level of the oceans. So we call that a coral geochemical proxy. And now it's also coral, we need to, we are developing an age determination scale. So sometimes in best case, we can reconstruct past past age determination plus minus 0.5 years. So we can back to the past if we can apply such a methods to the fossil corals. So I'd like to love to find such long-lived massive type of corals, because this kind of coral can tell us the very long continuous histories of the environment change. So in the ocean, the field, we drill using such a technique to drill from top part to the bottom of the giant long-lived corals. Then could obtain the coral cores. Sometimes we also drill the coral core to take samples from the land to find nice, well-preserved fossil specimens. So probably, but I will. Then I'll show you that some example. What is the coral tell us? How the coral can tell us the past climate change. For example, this is from oxygen isotopes profile. And then we can know that the past temperature and salinity change very in detail, including a seasonal change. Yeah. Also, we can reconstruct the past change in the cross-shore currents using a nitrogen isotopes of the coral skeletons, or nitrate condition. We can also reconstruct from coral skeletons. Also, as I said, the coral living very close to the human being, the local community. So coral tell us the local land use history or industrial history as well. Or also, if I let isotopes, we can reconstruct atmosphere pollution as well. Also, if we can find very well preserved coral fossil, so we can really back to the past. This is the oldest evidence for the ENSO variability. I found that these corals from the Philippines, so we could reconstruct past oldest ENSO variability in the fossil corals. So if the coral have both, very sensitivity, also very strong. I mean, the last 500 million years, they can survive and evolve. Also, the very sensitive to the climate environment changes. So coral can tell us what was the relationship, the coral ecosystem, marine condition, and Earth environment changes. So now I'm to use such coral. This is the start point of our interest. But now I'm a little bit shift to understand general relationship between Earth environment change and human society, because now I realize that many of the coral islands, human being also one of the member of coral reefs. So I want to know that how the human activities, the influence on the coral reef ecosystem, or vice versa, or what was the situation in the past and present and the future. So, and also, as I said, in the coral reefs, I have many good colleagues to the background is really different. So I can use such kind of interdisciplinary research group to understand such a relationship between human and nature. And I would like to know what will be happen for the future. Because I said in the beginning of my talk, I have feeling a bit differently because most of the institute, big famous institute located really big city. But that the local people is really helping us, cooperating us. But they don't know what was the result from our results. So I would like to back our knowledge to the local communities as well. So as I said, using a coral or other geological evidence, the materials, we can reconstruct what was happening in the past. Earthquake, typhoon, flooding, drought, or even also global warming. But during the very different time, different time resolution or different phenomena, it's also influence in our human being, even our life, our thought, or also the human immigration or settle down or lifestyle. So I would like to compare precisely between two different components, then to understand what was how our ancestor, human being, can survive with such very drastic change of environment, also the future. Now we are facing the global warming, the other issue. So now I want to just think about both, kind of environment factors, climate factors, temperature, precipitation, and environment big catastrophic events like tsunami, earthquake, and typhoon, and so on. And also we have to think about our component happening in the human being and our human society as well. So now we have a tool to compare with two components from past to future, present, and then to think about future. So Kikai Island is particularly good to also to think about such a relationship between human and nature. Yeah, because as I said, that this island is continuously uplifted for a long time. Also for long time, not long time, but at least several hundred years. Small communities is continue to located there, more than 37 small communities located, and culture and other histories really diverse. They are using on local languages, and there are different type of dancing or song or something like that. Because this is kind of a benefit from coral reefs, because coral can also maintain, sustain water in it. So this island, there is no big river, but anywhere it's a coral, water is come from the coral carbonate rocks. So that's why it's a very small community can exist independently for such long times. So it's a nice side, also nice side to compare with relationship between human and natures. Then also our archaeological team investigated archaeological sites. Then also we can determine the age of uplifted events. So we found mainly 4 big earthquakes that occurred in this island during the last 9,000 years. But during that period, these islands keep the hunt and gathering life system. But after the latest events, they changed to the agricultural settlements for their lifestyle. Also, we reconstruct past change in the coral community change. Coral can sustain a lot of fish and other shrimp and the food source for the ancient people, the present people. So also this component. So we reconstruct such history. Also climate change, temperature change. So even modern time, we use the long-lived corals to reconstruct very detailed temperature and the precipitation records. And then we found some, it's very corresponding, for example, less precipitation period to corresponding that such a very, we call the Amami famine. It's no precipitation, then people really suffered. So we can compare with such a two components. Then also, our teammate also investigate the locations, the different type of shrine. Some shrines prayed for the water, and also as a food source, and some other different type of shrine is located and also corresponding the spring water volume mass. So now it's kind of interdisciplinary research. It can tell us that it's such a kind of complicated, but the relationship between human and environment change was also happened, exist in the past time to the modern time. So I'll skip. So archaeological site investing. Also, we also doing the research, the fieldwork research and interview to the old peoples, and then what has happened recent past. There was high school students, and then to visualize their own events in the past. So now we have a hypothesis, climate change. So we have to deviate, not only deal with once, but climate change, environment change, we have variety. For example, global warming accumulating, increasing, using 100 years. But earthquakes happen suddenly. For example, of course, so degree of global climate, such a change, also amplitude of seasonal change, also frequency of events are also, they're all important to the influence the human style of human being and society. Okay. So now we use 100 years time window to gather very different method and a different field of science, the data and knowledge, and because their data is very different time window, the resolution is also different. So we are really suffering how we can discuss together on the same events or same, even that we are gathering the same narrow area of Kikai Islands, but our methodology is so different, variety. So we are now we decide to cut into certain 100 years time windows from past and modern and also future. So we have a climate modeler in our team. So now we decide to apply the new method to use making drama, because we are suffering to discuss together with very different methods. So I realized if we can apply the drama and making drama together with so we can co-create together. Also, we can visualize their own different kind of scientific data, and then to adjust the time resolution or resolution of data quality. Because drama, we can, human being act. So we can discuss together and then share the image. So it's really working well so far. So using this kind of method, we can think, how can I say, different, we can discuss with a different type of scientists, different backgrounds. Also, we can discuss fairly, equally to the younger generation, like students or so, because we are making fiction together. So it's making a fiction, we can talk equally, even the teacher and the student. So this is also, it was a good point. So also we can involve the local people in the local community, or stakeholder, different kind of stakeholder can play together, or to make process, to make drama, sharing the process of making drama. The one theme we will create the predict future scene. So we can make common sharing image also that to the future. So we can discuss, we scientists, young generation, different kind of scientists, young generations, also local members in the local community can make together for the future scenario. It's really working well. So we, sorry, skip. So now it's really seriously playing the drama. So it's also sometimes, making funny. Because students, also we would like to invite more people, not only the scientists. So, but the process of making fiction, it's somewhat similar to think about the future. The process is really similar. I recognize that. So it's really interesting, but it's really fun. It's big fun for not only for the scientists. So we are making the different type of scenario from the past and different situation in the modern time, present time, also the future scenario. But the important thing, that's making the story. We have very precise data on a different kind of knowledge from interdisciplinary research groups. Yeah. So now I'm understanding if the scientists like me want to go to the local community and then to act together, we need such very, how can I say, such kind of a cycle we need. Don't tell the local person quickly, oh, this is our research data results. So we should, local people should follow that or respect scientific results. So in the case, local community and people cannot understand or cannot follow our suggestion. So we need visualization and the making the empathy, also the play together or discussion together with the local peoples, local communities, even including a very different kind of stakeholders. So then, lastly, we understand education is so important in the local community. Because in the processes, I invited so many students from different kind of area. But students complained or us, we are not really professional researcher, or we are not always, we are not being here so long time. So they're really afraid to involve us. But we said, okay, so young generation is always welcome. We can enter, we can go outside if they want. And then also they can change their subject. Even from different kinds of, even the subject in the science or also arts. So we decided the younger generation put in the middle of our cycle. Our is the scientists, artists, and communities. So they somewhat fit. And then so they can, for different kind of components, act together. After we demonstrate to the younger generation, okay, you can be here, and then but you are in the middle parts of our activities. So that's also the very dissemble with formation of a coral reef. Coral can create the skeletons and accumulate. Eventually, that accumulation is formed a coral reef. But coral reef can, how can I say, protect high energy water wave from outside, and then maintain the very stable environment for the other organisms or other coral species we call lagoon. So it's the same concept. So at the end, during the last couple of days, I'm really suffering and enjoying to summarize that what is the similarity and what is the difference of corals and human being. Human being, I'm not really familiar with, but so maybe we have to change and revise. But sometimes corals and humanity have a similarity. For example, the unit from the corals, as I explained, from polyp, corallite, and then coral colonies, coral community, coral ecosystem, coral reefs, and coral islands. But I put into the human group from individual, family, community, society, a nation, and also other phenomena in polyp size, fertility size, and calcification, but also for the human being, in the birth, live, growth, so for example. But some also components. Yeah, I planned zooxanthellae, the symbiontiology, exoskeletons. In the case of human being, body, brain, and skeletons, and protectors. And factors and values. For corals, the temperature, tide, water current, place. But for the human being, individual human being, food, water, safety, health. So I try to categorize from individual polyp to the island and then nations. But I found some similarity, the concept of similarity, from survival and growth stage to the evolution and the transformation stage. So I would like to discuss the audience if, probably I'm wrong, but to the categorize. But I really tried, I enjoyed, I really excited to think about. So last time I couldn't sleep very well because it's really difficult to categorize, particularly the whole human beings, because human beings, that the component environment, it's so complicated. So I would like to discuss what was best express way to express and explain those components. So this is last slide of us. So I invited someone, artist, I know people. I invited him to the Kikai Islands. I explained, I bring him the ocean and land and the local community and what is corals and what is the mechanism of corals live. So they provide me at the end of field work. So these pictures, but this picture, I was really surprised. This consists is kind of hand at the face of human being, but this is expressed. He expressed corals and the coral colonies. So right hand side, I asked the student to draw what is the relationship between individual growth of corals and how is the coral colony decide to their shape. They also, this is annual banding, so also their influence together, but also really resistant to the environmental change. This is a kind of first step to make inspiration to present today. Thank you very much.